There are lots of reasons that people write books. Sometimes just to entertain, sometimes to learn something, and sometimes to inspire you to be something better than you are. And that is exactly what this book is for me. I chose to do a book this week about Temple Grandin. Temple Grandin is an autistic woman who has used her gifts and her talents to help her understand animals better and to be an advocate for humanely slaughtering and caring for livestock animals. She's a world-renowned speaker and advocate for autistic rights and understanding, and also for animals. I read this book. It is a really easy read. It's kind of long, but it's easy because it's just very interesting. It's not boring. There's commentary in here, dialogue, and there's lots of really nice, wonderful photos in here that make it really interesting to read. Another reason that I really enjoyed this book is because it really hits home to me, not only just as a person being inspired by somebody else who has a disability and is able to overcome their disability to make a great mark on the world, but also because I have two children with disabilities. One who has Asperger's, which is a disability that is in the high end of the autism spectrum, and then another child who is deaf, epileptic, and has brain injury. And so as I read this book, I could really see myself in Temple's parents and looking at my own children for their strengths and how they can make a difference in the world and tap into whatever it is that, that God has given them to make an impression. Temple Grandin is a young lady, well, she's not young anymore, she's middle-aged now. When she was a baby, this is a picture of her when she's a baby, and her parents did not understand what was wrong with her. And this was back in the 50s when they didn't know what autism was, or it was very, very misunderstood. Even today it's still kind of understood, but it's definitely better than it used to be. I'm going to read you just a part of this chapter that says, "What is autism?" "She's retarded. You know it, but you won't admit it," Temple's father, Richard, yelled at Temple's mom. He was disgusted with their older daughter. When Temple was 2, a second daughter, Isabel, was born. Now, at nearly 3, Temple had finally begun to laugh, but it wasn't the innocent laughter of a normal toddler, delighted with her discovery of the world. Temple would rip off the lilac-flowered wallpaper in her room, claw through the stuffing of her crib's bunny rabbit-decorated mattress, chew it up, spit it out, and then erupt in devilish giggles. "She's not retarded," Temple's mother, Eustacia, insisted. "Yes, she is. You just can't face it." Temple's parents fought often over Temple. Her father, handsome and temperamental, with wealth inherited from his family, wanted to send her away to a mental institution. Her mother longed to help her, but didn't know how. Well, Temple's mother still believed in her and did not send her to an institution. She found a good elementary school that was small, where she was able to talk to the teachers and the other students about Temple and how she was different. And the students and teachers were very understanding, and really Temple felt very safe there during her elementary school years. This book also talks about how she went to middle school and high school and then eventually to college. When she graduated high school, she went to go stay with her aunt on a ranch in Arizona, and that's where she really discovered her love for livestock. Previously, she had really loved horses, but as she worked on the ranch, she loved working with cows especially. Another funny part of this book is, here's another picture of Temple with cows, is when she quite often will go into a stockyard and lay down in the middle of the stockyard amongst all of the cows. Slowly, carefully, 4,000-pound steers walk over, forming a circle around her prone body. The huge animals are eager to investigate. "A person lying on the ground is something weird," Temple explains. "As long as you don't move, they'll come up to you." The steers are a little nervous, but they're curious too. Their furry ears arc forward. They inhale her scent through their wet noses. She can smell their grassy breath. And then one of them extends his long, rough, wet tongue and begins to lick Temple's face. She smiles. So Temple is obviously different than us. She learned that she thinks differently than neurotypical people. She thinks in pictures, and that is much the way that animals think. And so she's able to go into a stockyard or into a slaughterhouse and look at things and see why the animals are scared or why they're behaving in a certain way. She notices shadows on the wall. She notices textures on the floor, on the walls that might be disturbing to animals. And she's able to tweak things and maybe even redesign the plant to help the animals be more calm and more humanely treated, even though they're going to be slaughtered. And she firmly believes that even if animals are used for eating, that they still should be treated with respect and treated humanely. This book has lots of pictures. Mostly they're color photos. Here's a picture of Temple at one of the plants that she is touring. Each chapter has its own color pages. This is some pictures of Temple's design for animals. She designed this so that as the animals walked around, they could only see forward, but they couldn't see where they were going, so they wouldn't be scared. She did it circularly. She thinks very differently than anybody else has ever done, and that's why she's really a genius in her field. Here's another one of her designs. This is a simple version of it. Helping animals to go into this vat of medicine water so that they can get the medicine in their ears and kill the mites in their ears without the animals getting all freaked out and scared and rearing up and trying to hurt the handlers. I highly recommend that you get this book. It is kind of long. I would recommend it for probably an age 8 or 9 and up. But it's not a boring biography like some biographies. It's very interesting. The author uses lots of personal, anecdotal parts of Temple's life that are interesting and are relatable to everyone. And I just found this book extremely inspiring. It really helped me to understand my son better and helped inspire me to tap into what my children can do to make a difference in the world using their gifts and their unique abilities. Thanks.